Oh, look, another body working video. Or is it? This car here is all in epoxy primer, ready for us to do our finishing touches on it to get it to the finish line so that we can seal it up and put our pretty new paint job on all this work. They've been working very hard to get this car back together. Now, there's all kinds of ideas and views and points on body working, but what I'm going to get in here today is, let's imagine this car is all painted and pretty and shiny. It looks good here in primer. It doesn't look bad. I would say this is in factory specifications for panel gaps and alignments, but we're going to go one step further. That's what this video is going to be about. Now, if I were to take, it's kind of hard to see it, but like, the yellow parking lights and the parking lots, if you were to run that reflection down the entire side of the car, I don't want that line to get to the door and step up, then go back to the quarter panel, step down. I want my panels to all be on the same plane, or at least appear to be when it's all painted. Now, we've got this really close. I'll get you in here close, take a look at it, but there's a few things we're going to do to accomplish that, and I assure you, it's not that complicated. It's not going to add that much work to your body working stages, but your end results are going to look way better. It won't look like what you're seeing here in this picture. Not to say this car isn't a beautiful car and nicely built and probably within factory specs, but this car is not factory. It's far from it. There's nothing original on this place. Two panels on the exterior that actually survived the media blasting and working on this car. So it ain't original. So we don't have to worry about that. Plus, it's our custom build. We do whatever we want. I just prefer that nice even line and the reflection going down the side of the car, because when you're cruising, it just looks that much cleaner. And let me show you what it's going to take to get it there. Now, before we get too far into that, just in case you didn't see the previous videos, you need to assemble the entire car. We've got where the hood shuts nice, the door shuts nice, trunk lid, all the gaps are dialed in where we want them. Don't work the body panels off of the car. You want to do it while it's assembled, because that's how it's going to be when it's finished. So that's what we've done here to this point. But now let me show you what we're working with. Okay, from here it doesn't look too bad. Now I assume that we're fully capable of filling in little dings and dents like we're seeing here. That's not what we're going to get into here today. What I'm going to talk about is, when you look down the side of this car, right now you can actually see the reflection of the garage door transferring from the fender to the door and to the quarter panel. It's really not that far off. It looks pretty good. Now this is a primer. It doesn't have near the gloss that your finish does. So when we paint this super shiny, we might see a little bit of difference in height. If I were to take my flat edge here and lay on the fender to the door, we're going to see the trailing edge of the fender's got a little bit of a ripple or a bend to it, and the door has a little bit of a gap in here. It's not horrible. And like I said, if you actually sight down the side of the car on the same plane as the panels, they're pretty even. I got a little, I can't get the camera here. The height of the door is just slightly higher than the fender. We're talking minuscule, so how do we fix that? Well, this isn't a case where body filler is our friend, but we're not going to get carried away. But if this is, like you see here, the distance here is so minimal between the difference of them that the amount of body filler isn't even going to be a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to say it right now. I have no problem putting body filler on the faces of the panels, but never on the jamb. So if it's on your inside jamb, you need to dial those in with weld, or weld that up first. So if you haven't seen that, I did that in our previous videos, filling in the gaps on this, on the fender and our door. So our door gap is even top and bottom. The only thing we're going to be changing is the face of the panel. So just keep that in mind. Never use body filler to sculpt the end or the edge of your doors or your fenders or your panels. One little hit, it'll chip, and you'll be back to square one with problems with the car. We sight down the side of the car. There's a little bit of a step there. But again, we're going to do the same process, but let me show you a little trick here first to begin with. First tip is going to be, when working on sanding this door, it's not going to stay in place. I could install the latch, but there's no weather stripping, so as I'm working on it, it's going to move around. I want to keep the door in the exact same position as I'm sanding the panels all as one. That way I can get that true plane effect down the whole side of it. So how I'm going to do that, that's what we're going to show you right now. Going to need the red Scotch-Brite right here. And what we'll have to do, I'm going to actually just scuff the end of the panel right here in the door jamb. So we want our body filler to stick to it. That was the, I guess I let the cat out of the bag now. You know what I'm going to be using here. I'm going to just go ahead and scuff the whole thing here. Our epoxy primer is a great foundation, but it needs to be scuffed first. So, okay. Got a lot of work out here for now. And for the next part, I got a little body filler gonna mix up here in my cereal box. Someone viewer gave me a fantastic idea: clipboard, and recycle the clipboard and just change out your cardboard. I have misplaced my clipboard, so I'm gonna go back to the getting place to go get one. So future reference, a little tip for you: instead of trying to mix it here on this flimsy cardboard because it's disposable, put a clipboard behind that. So I will be doing that in the future. But nonetheless, mix up a little body filler, and we're gonna use the body filler basically as a temporary glue to hold the door in position while we do all our body working and our sanding. Makes good sense to me. It's cheap, it works. When you're done, it files right out of the way. You never knew you did it. You could obviously try to, I guess, weld the door in position, but you're opening a can of worms. So it's a quick little make it work kind of thing. Now I mixed it more than I needed because I actually, while I'm doing body work, I'm going to jump all over this car. I would not advise doing that, but maybe start with one panel, work your way around. But I'll work on the driver's side, passenger side, the front and the back. While all this stuff's setting off, I can work on another corner of the car because time is limited. We only have so much time to do this. Now, if this is my full-time job, I guess I'd feel different, but I just come out here and tinker. So, okay. Again, we're just going to put a little glob. We're going to bridge the gap between the door and the quarter panel. It didn't have to be a whole lot because this stuff's actually pretty stout. So, down here at the bottom too. Somebody needs to oil their hinges. Okay. All right. Show you what that looks like. Now what that looks like, it looks like a glob of mess, but look at the door. I can shake the whole car now and it's not moving anywhere. So now, as I'm doing any kind of filler work or sanding work, my door is not going to be bouncing around, I won't be chasing myself, in particular here in the front. It keeps the door from moving so I can do a nice even filler on both ends. So next thing here, it's going to scuff all this with my Scotch-Brite and get it prepped and put a little thin coat of body filler, and I'll show you how that works. Give that a little wipe down. I'm ready to go. Do. I'm feeling like some Cheerios, so we're gonna get some body filler mixed up and do a quick little pass. Now the idea is not necessarily fill in the gap, but work both sides of the gap and put a thin coat and just spread it down like so. Now if it bridges the gap, that's okay. You come back, cut it later. But right now, Just wanting to get that. Basically, we're just gonna level off the two panels together. Like I said, if it bridges the gap some, that's okay. But I've got a way to get that cleaned back up when we're all done. I'll let that cure. This is all popped off, cured, dried, whatever you're gonna call it. It's all good. This is my Durablock, that really rigid one. It doesn't have a lot of flexibility. This is 80 grit sandpaper. Now, the goal is not to burn through the epoxy. Inevitably, I probably will in a few small spots, but gauging on how much it burns through to kind of determine what I do next. But we're going to go ahead and just work this out. This is kind of rough. I just wanted to get the rough shape. There's not a whole lot of body filler on here, but we're going to kind of work the same thing so we get this all leveled off. And there'll probably be parts of the metal that might poke through, but that's what we're going to find out here. But we'll start working here at the top and work our way down. That went pretty quick. And I did burn through here, here, and here. Those are high spots, one little spot right there, so not too bad. Cool. Okay, so what did that gain us? Check this out now. I put my flat edge on it now. My fender and my door are both on the same plane now, so that should help out our reflection situation. This is roughed in with 80 grit sandpaper and even our filler. I typically come back with a glaze coat, and basically it'll blend out the edges further out and sand that with 220. But I think what I'm going to do first, since I kind of got carried away, I kind of glued the front of the door together just the same. I'm going to show you how I separate that and keep moving forward. Now, it's a bit Neanderthal. This is a Sawzall blade pair of vice grips, and I literally just go in here between the two panels and saw it out. Now, if I was really confident with a cutoff wheel, you could probably do the same thing. Or if you had an electric motor run with this Sawzall blade, it'd probably work okay too. But I find there's more control and less chance of screwing things up if I just do it like this. And again, the edges I'm sawing on, we're going to sand all that filler off anyway, so we're not going to damage any of our end results. Do it. Now, once you got it cut open with a Sawzall blade, this is leftover piece of 80 grit. I guess I peel it off. It still has some use to it, but fold it in half so you got sandpaper on both sides. A new piece would work fine too, but I'm just too cheap. And then you literally just work it in here like this. And keep filing the gap open, and as it gets wider, the gap, you just fold it again and make it a little bit thicker. And eventually you'll file the thing back. Keep on going until you hit the edge of the door, and keep on going that way until you hit the edge of the fender, and it should be pretty good, nice, even gap. I'm gonna say it again, the goal is not to leave any body filler on the leading or the edges of the actual door, only the outside face. Okay, fold it again. See if that'll go in there. That may not fit yet. Yeah, it's going. Just about there. That's the quick pass there. It looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to try to get the camera in here close enough, but you'll see the dark edge. That's the metal. I've sanded back down to the metal. As I said, my gap is adjusted by the metal. So that's where we're actually back down to here on this side too. So again, don't leave any putty filler on the leading or edges of the door or the fender. I know I said that several times, but I'm trying to stress that point because it's very important. So I need to go ahead now. I'm going to do the same thing here to the back. I'm going to cut the top and the bottom loose. Then I can open the door and I can check my points for clearance. This likes to get pretty tight, and that likes to get pretty tight. So I'm going to cut that loose back there and see how it did. Oh, got a little spot here in the top. The bottom's loose. The top have a spot kind of in there that just doesn't want to give up. There we go. Ta-da! Now see how we did up here. Now the points the lights get kind of a little snug is here and here. Ooh boy, that's close. Pretty close. Now let's check up here. Well, that clears by a mile, so we're gonna be fine there. Here's just a little snug. You can see it actually kind of plows the dust just a little bit as it goes. So I'm gonna have to come up with some, don't know. I'll do some kind of filing or something here, open up that gap just a little bit because I can see the metal. Get the camera to focus. That's the fender kind of poking through. So I'll do a little massaging, but I can now say my door. Now my fender lines up to the door lines up to the quarter panel. Gotta do just a little bit of filing or something there on that, but you get the idea. Now the door's open, I can come down here and clean up the rest of the filler that kind of bled through on the backside there, but I think we're gonna be okay. Don't need much for clearancing, but these are the things that we need to check before we paint the car or do anything else for a final body working too, but there's one little tip that I wanted to share with you. There you have it, a quick tip or at least some insight on how you can dial in your body panel so you get that nice, even reflection between all the pieces on the side of the car. That's what I wanted to share with you here today. Now, we're only gotten to the point of 80 grit sandpaper, so we're going to call this the roughed in stage. I need to get the rest of the car, like that's how I like to, all to that point. So I got to get the fenders, the hood, the trunk deck, the tail panel, all the obvious dents or blemishes that I can find that need to be filled in and sanded. And then it may come through where any spot where these little bare metal spots are and just spot prime it or just kind of cover even the body fill with a little bit of epoxy. So that may be what I'm going to get into here next, but I figured I wanted to show you this part here. These parts are about 90% corrected. I got a little bit of like a high glaze coat I put on, then block it. It's kind of part of the process. You don't want to miss that. So this is only part of the body working stages. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, and then of course, leave me some comments telling me what you do like or don't like, or anything you found that works or may be helpful for all of us that are watching. Because that's the point of this channel, sharing the knowledge, sharing what we've learned, sharing what don't work, and of course, what does work just the same. So nonetheless, I'm going to call it quits for today. I'm going to wrap things up. It's snowing outside, the Trans Am's out there. I really don't like that idea, so we're going to wrap it up for this go around, but I will definitely back out here, do some more body working videos, grab the camera, and I hope to see you all then.